The civilian only can rule the country, not the military men. To have peace and stability, you should have a strong man in every country, not a dictator, but a strong man. What you call democracy in your own country, another country can call that a dictatorship.
You have, I believe, described yourself as the founder of the Black Power movement.
Oh no, the Negroes living in the States. I said that I want to get for Haiti the leadership of the black world, because we have been the first to become independent with our with guns against white people, against French people. And we got it in 1804.
The story of Duvalier is a very complicated story in Haitian history. Many Haitians remember that era, that regime, that are older. And for many of the youth, we know the stories from our parents, from our great-grandparents, and some of our grandparents who had to go into exile away from the Tonton Macoute and the Duvalier regime. It's a very dark past that Haiti is still dealing with today. But if you peel back the layers, Duvalier or Duvalierism still has a lot of support and a lot of people that believe this was the golden era of Haiti. It can be split 50-50, and in this video, I will try to be as unbiased as possible in this video and lay it out clearly, the good and the bad of this Duvalier era. But before we get into this video, first, hey friend, welcome to my channel Crane Allude, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars through history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so, and if you're already subscribed, please turn on your notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. The thing with Duvalier is, before we get into his childhood, his scary career, he was a very controversial man. While some believe that he was for the people, he had a lot of good intentions in the beginning of his reign. I do believe his intentions were pure, but along the way, things got tainted. What happened? What happened? But one of the most shocking things for a lot of Americans and people abroad that are learning about Duvalier is that he claimed he was the reason why John F. Kennedy died. And in Haiti, it is well believed that this is true. All the conspiracies in America that you'll hear about John F. Kennedy and the man with the umbrella, it was actually a spirit, a loi, that came and killed him. And I know this all sounds crazy, but follow along and you're going to see. Let's start first with his childhood. And of course, there's no photos of his childhood. There's limited photos because Duvalier did not like press. But let's start with the childhood. So Francois Duvalier, also known as Papa Doc, was born into the world on April 14th, 1907 in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. His dad hailed from Martinique and worked as a justice of the peace, while his mom was a baker. A kind aunt named Madame Florestal took him under her wing and raised him. Growing up wasn't easy for young Francois. He suffered from yaws, which is a nasty skin disease that could leave you with sores, lesions, and bone pain. And unfortunately, he wasn't the only kid in Haiti dealing with this. Yaws was a common nightmare. And despite these tough beginnings, Duvalier didn't let anything hold him back. He nailed a medical degree from the University of Haiti in 1934 and went on to become a well-respected staff physician at local hospitals. His thirst for knowledge even took him to the University of Michigan for a year to study public health in the United States. By 1943, he was knee-deep in a mission alongside the United States to stamp out a slew of contagious diseases like typhus and malaria that were making life miserable for Haitians. His dedication to helping the poor earned him the affectionate nickname Papa Doc, which stuck with him forever. Racism and violence Duvalier witnessed during the U.S. occupation of Haiti, which started in 1915, sparked a fire of Black nationalism in him. Papa Doc was big on Pan-African ideals and got swept up in the negritude movement. The fascination with Haitian voodoo wasn't just a spiritual thing. It turned out to be a clever political move down the line. A year later, he tied the knot with Simone Duvalier, and they went on to have 4 children. Papa Doc's life was shaping up to be one remarkable story, mixing medicine, politics, and deep-rooted passion for his country and culture. He was a very educated man, and he loved to read, he loved to write, he loved to really learn about history, and the more he did that, the more passionate he became about getting his people out of the situation they were in.
I was wondering, Mr. President, what you do for relaxation?
I do for relaxation by reading and writing. You have to know, this is another aspect of Dr. Duvalier. He is a writer. Even when I'm going to sleep, I have to have a book on my hand. This is a morphine for me. If I do not read, I can't sleep.
What sort of books are you reading?
Only history, sociology, anthropology, and medicine.
Now let's go on to his rise to power. In 1946, Duvalier made a strategic move by teaming up with President du Marseille Estimé, securing himself the role of Director General of the National Public Health Service. By 1949, he climbed even higher, becoming Minister of Health and Labor. However, when Paul Magloire pulled off a coup in 1950, Papa Doc wasn't having any of it. He ditched the government scene and went back to battling diseases among the people. But things got dicey in 1954, forcing Duvalier to duck out of sight and into the Haitian countryside, dodging the wrath of the Magloire regime. By 1956, with Magloire's grip loosening, Papa Doc saw his chance. Still, from his hideout, he threw his hat in the ring to be Haiti's next president. Come December, an amnesty allowed him to step back into the light just as Magloire was bowing out. The race for presidency in 1957 pitted Duvalier against Louis Desjoie, a well-off mulatto from the north. Haiti was a hot mess at the time, cycling through 5 temporary governments faster than you could blink. Papa Doc promised a fresh start, and his pitch, loaded with noirist populism, hit home with the majority Afro-Haitians and won over the military. He painted Desjoie, his main competition, as part of the mulatto elite that many were tired of. So in Haiti, I know I talked about this already in my Hilda Sims video about the mulattoes in America and stuff like that, you know, the Creoles. In Haiti, we had our own mulattoes. I briefly mentioned that also. And people were tired of the mulattoes because they owned all the lands. They owned basically everything. They were the ones living wealthy in gated communities in Haiti, because a lot of people think it's just poverty and slums in Haiti. No, there were gated communities like 4 or 5 stories high, and they had good education systems. Their kids were able to study abroad and come back and be doctors and lawyers. They were the judges, and they were the ones ruling the country for a very long time. So the darker skinned Haitians always felt oppressed and limited, and like there was no possibility for us. They were tired and they were hungry for a darker skinned leader that was going to come and put power back into the hands of the darker skinned people. This was the era that they were in, so you guys can understand the psychology of Haitians during that time. Once he won the presidency, Papa Doc didn't waste any time. He sent Desjoie's major backers packing into exile and put his stamp on a new constitution. His role marked a shift, placing Afro-Haitians in key spots in the civil service and military and cutting down the mulatto elite's clout. So he started putting darker skinned people in military positions and putting them in higher positions all around. Now it was like the worst thing for you to be was a mulatto. So a lot of mulattoes started feeling the heat and started exiling the country. They exiled themselves. They started escaping. If they had children, they left their children behind. They were like, we are not staying here to deal with whatever's going on. Papa Doc had a knack for sidelining his rivals, especially those from the mulatto elite who couldn't get their act together against him. In a bold nationalist move, he kicked out nearly all foreign-born bishops, which got him kicked out of the Catholic Church. He didn't want no foreign Catholic Church people. Like, he felt like Catholic Church was an oppressive force in Haiti. The Catholic powers that be were very oppressive. They came and oppressed the people, thought they were superior. They were putting white bishops in Haiti and reporting back to other nations what was going on. And it was just not the vibes. Foreign press hated it. They started giving him bad press and seeing it like he was removing the Catholic bishops so that he could place it in voodoo and make Haiti a voodoo nation. And he himself said, no, that's not the case. We're not a voodoo nation. This is bad press.
We were facing an international and political conspiracy set up by certain great nation.
Which nation do you believe is leading this conspiracy then, Mr. President?
Several white nations. And they spent many millions, for instance, in 1963, not only to overthrow the President Duvalier, but to destroy the fatherland, our fatherland. To destroy, I say. And I stress only, to destroy our fatherland. Haiti is not the country of Voodoo. They said that I was a Hungan, a place of Voodoo. They said that in the international press. Why?
It was easy to sway the people. Let's just say that. The less educated you were, the easier it was to sway you to believe a lot of the rumors that were going on at that time with Papa Doc, where I believe at that time he wasn't yet on the deep end. So a lot of people were believing that, okay, he's removing Catholics, a lot of Haitians, because Haiti, yes, a lot of people practice voodoo, but I wouldn't call it like a voodoo nation because there's a lot of staunch Christians and people who does not service or pray to these laws. They were very opposed Duvalier for removing the Catholic bishop, and they weren't really understanding why he was doing that. He did speak against that. Like I said, this gets very, very complicated. So Papa Doc styled himself in various roles to win over the people. He likened himself to Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the so-called father of Haiti, and named military barracks after him. He allied himself with Estimé's widow, claiming to carry on Estimé's vision of modernization and Black empowerment. But perhaps most notoriously, Papa Doc played the part of a Ougan or voodoo priest. So a Ougan is a voodoo priest when I say that. Aligning himself with Gede, a spirit linked with death and comedy, recognizing the deep roots voodoo had amongst the Haitians. Those who knew him very closely claimed that he was actually atheist. He didn't believe in any of this stuff, but he understood that majority of Haiti at that time were into voodoo, and he wanted to lead by fear and wanted the people to, fear him, fear that, oh, he's this, because Haiti, the way they saw it, anyone who was president had to make a pact with the devil. For you to become president, you had to make a pact with the devil. It wasn't just a position that was given lightly like that. That's just the belief. And there was always a lot of fear attached around that. And a lot of those presidents would have coup d'etat against them. A lot of people said in the beginning, that's what he was doing. He was using that fear to control the people. And he didn't really believe in voodoo or any religion to say. He was a man of science, a doctor, medicine, and he'd use medicine also, which a lot of witch doctors do. That's what they do. They use plants and herbs to create what seems like miracles or miraculous events when it's not. It's just the knowledge of plants and herbs, but they attach a mysticism to it that does, confuse people. So they did say that a lot of that was what he was doing. But that was in the beginning. To keep his grip tight, he formed the Tonton Macoute, his personal army named after a boogeyman from Haitian folklore, to instill fear. These guys were picked from the common folk, they were prisoners. They were peasants too, that had nothing to lose. And they acted like a secret police and were fiercely loyal only to Papa Doc because he's giving them a job, position, and power. With them, he terrorized anyone who dared oppose him, becoming infamous for their brutality. He also placed Ougans in high political positions as a security measure. Papa Doc's role was a mix of political savvy and sheer terror, making him a figure impossible to forget in Haitian history. And the thing with the Tonton Macoutes was that not only were these criminals that were in jail that he took them and gave them these positions and they were peasants with nothing to lose, but he couldn't control all of them. And in a way for them to give him loyalty, he allowed them to do whatever they want. Now, these Macoutes were corrupt. A lot of them were corrupt, okay? I've heard some stories from Macoutes that had great intentions. Like I said, I do believe in the beginning, it was empower the people, had great intentions. But they started witnessing other Macoutes, like if they wanted to sleep with a girl, and corruption starts when you give criminals any power. They wanted to sleep with your daughter. You didn't want to give your daughter. They'll take your daughter by force. And if you dare speak against them, they'll take your life. So this started to create a hate for the Macoutes from the people and a fear. People would just be disappearing. The Macoutes would also now start to take land from the people to feed themselves. They started to become a gang. It started to become very corrupt. And what could he do? If he spoke against these same people that were super loyal to him, keeping him in power, keeping him and his family safe, they would just turn against him. So even if his intentions were good, he had to now live with the decision that this is what I gave power to. But let's speak about the voodoo aspect with him. So Francois, Papa Doc Duvalier, wasn't playing any games when it came to holding on to power in Haiti. He had seen enough presidents kicked out by the army and decided that wouldn't be his fate. To keep the military in check, he kept shuffling their leaders around so nobody could get too comfortable or powerful. Plus, he was pretty clever, promoting the lower-ranking black soldiers to top spots, who in turn showed him fierce loyalty. Papa Doc's real power play came with his creation of the Tonton Macoutes that became notorious for their ruthless ways. And with these guys on his side and the army weakened, Papa Doc crowned himself president for life in 1964, sticking to this role until he passed away. And the Tonton Macoutes were very scary figures. They had their uniforms, like their sunglasses. They wore sunglasses a lot, no matter what time of day it was, with hats. Papa Doc's health was a whole story on its own. He hit a major bump in 1959 when he suffered a massive heart attack, which many think was due to messing up his insulin dose. He had been dealing with diabetes and heart issues for a long time, and the heart attack knocked him out for 9 hours, leaving him with what some thought was brain damage, which might explain some of his extreme actions later on. While he was out of commission, he handed the reins over to Clement Barbeau, a big shot with the Tonton Macoutes. But once Papa Doc got back on his feet, he got paranoid, thinking Barbeau was trying to take over. So he threw Barbeau in jail. Barbeau got out in 1963 and tried to kidnap Papa Doc's kids as payback. But the plan flopped and Papa Doc freaked out. Words got back to him that Barbeau had turned himself into a black dog. A literal, not figuratively. He turned himself into a black dog and ordered all black dogs in Haiti to be killed when he heard that. And eventually Barbeau was caught and they took him out. They ended his life on July 1963. And before y'all like, what, Karine? Yes, this happens in Haiti.
Life does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
People will shapeshift. It happens. Papa Doc had a dark side that went even further. He ordered the head of an executed enemy to be brought to him on ice so he could talk to the spirit. So they'll execute his enemies and he'll take their skulls, touch their skulls with his hands and talk to them, like get all the intelligence from their brains. It's really disturbing. He even had peepholes installed in the rooms where prisoners were tortured, sometimes watching, sometimes stepping in as people were tormented or dunked in sulfuric acid. A lot of people believe these were just rumors to keep the people in fear too, that he didn't actually do this. So under Papa Doc's rule, a lot of Haitians couldn't stand that heat and got out of the kitchen, like we said. His regime pushed an unprecedented number of people to flee Haiti, seeking safety in places like the United States, Canada, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic. Sure, Papa Doc lifted some poor Black Haitians out of poverty, but generally speaking, life in Haiti was tough. The average person suffered, and the terror spread by the Tonton Macoutes is something that's remembered to this day. So he did do a lot, like the streets were cleaner with the Tonton Macoutes, we're not gonna lie. They were walking around with their guns. You weren't just gonna throw trash on the ground. But on the other hand, it was like a double-edged sword because the Tonton Macoutes were ruthless. They were evil, you know? And of course, you created this militia. You created them. So you're going to get the blame for everything they do. And then you use them to hold your political power. But he studied a lot of Machiavelli, like we stated. And I want to say this because I believe that every leader has no matter what country they're in, they use Machiavellian tactics. Okay, don't get it twisted. Even presidents in America, they use Machiavellian tactics. And I'm not taking for Papa Doc, but they won't let you know. They won't show it in public, and they'll show the peaceful facades. But they'll occupy other countries because as pleasant as America tried to seem, they occupied Haiti and was, even during the earthquake that happened, y'all know what happened. I'm not even going to get into that. It's very sad for what, it's just very tragic. But they'll take children. Y'all know the Clintons, what they do. I'll leave my Haitians to educate the people in the comment because I don't want issues with this video with YouTube, okay? But A lot of these leaders will occupy these poor countries, these African countries, and these Caribbean countries, and do unspeakable harms that makes these dictators look like innocents. Or they'll go into countries and have this propaganda against a lot of quote unquote dictators that weren't really true. They just want it to look that way because there's something they need. I'll just leave it there with that.
And you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons. So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries? Why don't you give back the money? Because what's happened in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation is a disgrace. And you know it, and they know it, and everybody knows it.
After the earthquake, and still many people live in makeshift tents because of the earthquake from 2010. But being there in Port-au-Prince and seeing ceremonies with President Bill Clinton, he was a major force in Haiti.
We have to go back when we look at Bill Clinton and his relationship in Haiti when he was president. One of the worst things that he's done that's still hurting Haiti is this policy where he took the excess rice from Arkansas, where he's from, and dumped it in Haiti and used our tax dollars to subsidize it. There's legislation that keeps getting knocked off to reverse this policy.
Former President Clinton publicly apologized for forcing Haiti to drop tariffs on imported subsidized U.S. rice during his time in office. The policy wiped out Haitian rice farming, seriously damaging Haiti's ability to be self-sufficient.
Since 1981, the United States has followed a policy until the last year or so we started rethinking it. We rich countries that produce a lot of food should sell it to poor countries and relieve them of the burden of producing their own food. So thank goodness they can leap directly into the industrial era. It has not worked. It was a mistake that I was a party to. I am not pointing the finger at anybody. I did that. I have to live every day with the consequences of the lost capacity to produce a rice crop in Haiti to feed those people.
It's still in effect in Haiti. There's no reason why Haiti should be importing rice because it's something that's always, the rice grown in Haiti is much healthier. Ever since this rice has been coming in, there have been diabetes epidemics. People didn't used to have that much diabetes. This is the worst thing that could have happened to Haiti.
Recently released emails from Hillary Clinton's private server revealed details of how U.S. officials worked closely with the Haitian private sector as they forced Haitian authorities to change the results of the first round of presidential elections in late 2010. On Sunday, Haitians head to the polls to select their next president in the first round of elections. But now there's evidence of U.S. interference in the last presidential election back in 2010. Eventually, the U.S. government ended up supporting the current president, Michel Martelly.
10 Americans arrested for trying to take 33 children out of Haiti without permission could now face prosecution. This official says the Americans may be handed over to the United States because Haiti's court system is devastated following the January 12th earthquake. The group was arrested near the Dominican border. The 10 Americans are affiliated with a Baptist church in Idaho. They say they were only trying to rescue the abandoned children, ranging in age from 2 months to 12 years old.
Even if it seems to be legal, but a lot of organizations, they come and say there were children on the street, we are going to bring them to the States. And we have already reports of a lot of trafficking, even of organ trafficking.
Of organ trafficking? Of the victims of the earthquake?
Yeah.
But I don't like how history likes to paint a lot of people or dictators as if, oh my goodness, like with this morality, let's talk about the British colony. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about what they've done, their crimes against humanity. Oh, offense to the English watching, but let's be for real. Let's be for real. History is history, you know? I don't like how they look at it with such a morality police type of eyes and, oh, this is so heinous. Oh, this amount of people was taken out of here. Let's turn the mirror to you. So Francois Papa Doc Duvalier didn't just rule Haiti. He turned himself into a living, breathing symbol of the country. He wasn't content being just any leader. He went all out, claiming he was a very embodiment of Haiti itself. But Papa Doc had a flair for the dramatic and eerie, tapping into Haiti's voodoo culture to amp up his image. He told people he was a voodoo priest, which in place where voodoo is deeply woven into the fabric of society, added a layer of supernatural mystique to his rule. So after he had this, he went into the coma, he got sick, he started switching up a little and started embodying Bon Samedi. Believe after that, he really got into the occult for real. I no longer believe he was an atheist anymore. He started to really consult with these spirits and it became a real thing. He didn't stop there. He took style tips from Bon Samedi, wearing sunglasses day and night to hide his eyes and speaking with a distinct nasal tone. He wasn't just mimicking. He was transforming into the spitting image of the Loi, blasting the message that Papa Doc was on par with the Loi, Jesus Christ. They call Jesus Christ a Loi, which is so insulting, and even God himself. There was the one famous picture floating around showing Jesus with his hands on Papa Doc's shoulders, like he was giving him a divine seal of approval, with a caption that basically said, "I have chosen him." The blasphemy of it all. He even took the Lord's Prayer, our Father, Lord, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and he switched it to add his name to it, which I'm not going to read because it was just blasphemous, but children had to recite it in schools. This is where he started to lose everybody, and it started to just become really, really demonic. Papa Doc's ego knew no bounds. After he won his first election, he started calling himself stuff like immaterial being in the Haitian flag, as if he and the nation were one and the same. He also claimed he could not be killed. Any threats against him were stupid and comical, because he could not be killed by man.
You don't take seriously these attempts upon you?
Upon my life, never, 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 never.
Your life has been threatened many times.
My life? No. To be assassinated? No.
I'm thinking of the airplanes that come to bomb.
No. They are, what you call it, crazy? I can say crazy. They will never reach their aim, because I know who I am. I cannot be killed by anyone because I have faith on my destiny.
But here's where it gets downright weird. Papa Dog had a trophy in his closet that would make anyone's skin crawl. The head of Blucher Philogene, a guy who had the guts to try and overthrow him back in 1963. You heard me correctly. He had his head in his closet, like his decapitated head. An actual human head, kept as a grisly reminder of what happens to those who crossed him. This wasn't just a ruler flaunting power. This was Papa Dog declaring he was untouchable in both the physical and spiritual realms, and they said he would take the head and talk to the head like the head would talk back to him, etc. Let's get into his beef with United States. Francois Papa Doc Duvalier had a knack for making waves, especially with the big guys up north in the United States. Right from the get-go, he was calling out the U.S. for buddying up with the Dominican Republic's dictator, Rafael Trujillo, while pretty much giving Haiti the cold shoulder. When JFK rolled into the White House, the U.S. government wasn't exactly thrilled with how Papa Doc was running the show in Haiti, with his iron fist and rumors flying around that he was pocketing aid money meant for the country. By 1962, Uncle Sam had enough and hit pause on the cash flow to Haiti, demanding to see the receipts, which Papa Doc flat out refused to do. In a bold move, Papa Doc told the U.S. to keep its money, framing himself as a little guy standing up against a superpower. Then came something straight out of a Hollywood script. After JFK was assassinated in November 1963, November 22nd, Papa Doc claimed he had put a curse on Kennedy. Whether folks believed him or not, the U.S. decided to back off. So 22 was his lucky number, and it was a spiritual number for him. And so everything that happened significant happened on that day. Is it just a coincidence? Because 22 was his lucky number before JFK passed away. He had it on his car, like his Mercedes-Benz that was bulletproof that he would ride around would have the number 22 on it. He made sure his inauguration was on the 22nd. Anything he did, whether ritual or whatever that was significant to him, he did it on the 22nd of whatever month that was. So then, JFK died. So it's like, is that a coincidence? Because he didn't say, oh, JFK died, so now let me make 22 a significant number. So all Haitians everywhere was like, wow, this is crazy. And the United States kind of did back off because they were like, oh, communism more. But it was kind of scary. He celebrated when JFK died, and he took full credit for it. He was like, I did it. Yep. It was a spiritual thing. I don't care who's taking credit for this. I did it. I took his life. He should have left me alone. He was bothering me. This was really how he was talking. Comment below your thoughts with that and the mystery surrounding JFK and how it all happened, even the patsy that they had that claimed they did it, and the man with the umbrella. And umbrella is a significant meaning in the spiritual world for these people that are into that stuff. Like, I'm thinking of the show Umbrella Academy and Rihanna's song Under the Umbrella. But umbrella is a mystical thing. When people use or attach themselves to that symbolism, it's something. And to think, the man with the umbrella when JFK passed, that is insanity. That is insanity. In a rare moment of diplomacy, Papa Doc rolled out the red carpet for Ethiopia's Emperor Haile Selassie in 1966, marking the only state visit during his reign. Duvalier awarded Haile Selassie the necklace of the Order of Jean-Jacques Dessalines the Great, and the emperor in turn bestowed upon Duvalier the great necklace of the Order of the Queen of Sheba. And despite the constant turmoil, this visit showed a different side of Papa Doc, at least for a brief moment. Even abroad, the Negro leaders at the time really loved Papa Doc. It was just the European. And he said, I should be the favorite of the European, because he was anti-communist, Papa Doc was. And he made communism a sin almost in Haiti, right? Was what America was trying to eradicate. So he said, I should have been a favorite to the West. I should have been the favorite child, but they hate me because I'm black, because I'm a Negro.
There's no doubt about it, Mr. President. You have had the worst international press of any president I've known.
That's right, yes. No, since 1804, they used to do that against every president who come from the poor people.
So why then should the American press be critical of you?
I'm not well prepared mentally to study the situation. I should be
the favorite child.
The favorite child,
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the right way. The favorite child of the U.S., but
instead of which, you're the...
Instead of which, they consider me like a black sheep.
Now why do they do this, Mr. President?
Maybe, and certainly, the question as a racial one, as a leader, because I'm a strong leader here in the Western Hemisphere, maybe they consider me as a bad example for the 25 million Negroes living in the States. Maybe. I don't know.
So he had a lot of their ideals, but they just couldn't get with a black leader, you know, at the time. And who knows, maybe if they supported him, it wouldn't have gotten as dark as it did. But a lot of the West would bring insecurity to the Caribbean, specifically Haiti. They'll put leaders in place, take them out, try to control them. If they can't control them, they take them out, replace them with somebody that they can control. And I believe Papa Doc was just determined to not be that for them. Not only did he hate seeing any foreign people that were white in Haiti, Haitians didn't like it either. Now look at Haiti, you know what I mean? And Papa Doc Duvalier was a master at playing the power game, using fear, control, and reward to kick the old mulatto elites to the curb and replace them with his own crew. His method, a mix of heavy-handed tactics like skimming off the top of businesses, demanding bribes, shaking down local companies, and pocketing public funds, all to line the pockets of his inner circle. These folks wielded enough clout to either scare off or squash the old-timers, many of whom just ended up being absorbed into the new order or were outright removed from the picture. The fallout from Papa Doc's rule was dramatic. Loads of educated folks, doctors, teachers, you name it, couldn't stand the heat, and they all fled Haiti, heading for places like New York City, Miami, Montreal, Paris, and various French-speaking spots in Africa, Orlando, Florida, Florida, specifically Boston. Some of these brainy exiles landed jobs with the UN, putting their skills to use in developing countries like Ivory Coast and Congo. And a lot of people were very open in that era to these exiles because they were educated. They weren't just like, the average peasant leaving. There were a lot of educated doctors and lawyers that just didn't want to keep their businesses in Haiti because they were mulatto. Despite all of this, Papa Doc had a solid fan base among the black rural majority. They saw him as their hero, standing up to the mulatto elite that had kept them down for so long. During his 14-year reign, he managed to carve out a new black middle class, mainly by handing out government jobs and favors. He also won favor by riding around the country handing out money to the people.
The father of his people? Perhaps. But there's a more practical reason for chasing the presidential limousine and for being there when it stops. On his rare adventures outside the palace, Duvalier always generates enthusiasm by handing out large sums of money, wads of crisp new notes, which would take a peasant half a year to earn if he had the work.
He also kept the streets clean, and he encouraged education amongst the people and their literacy. While a lot of publications claim that he kept the people illiterate, a lot of people were able to read more books, and he always spoke about reading to the people. Read, go educate yourself, etc. So I don't know. Papa Doc didn't just stop at reshaping society. He also got into some infrastructure work, getting started on what's now known as Toussaint Louverture International Airport. But all stories come to an end, and Baba Doc closed out with his death from heart disease and diabetes on April 21st, 1971, just a week after turning 64. His seat of power didn't stay cold for long, as his 19-year-old son, Jean-Claude, or Baby Doc, took up his mantle. We will be doing a breakdown for Baby Doc. When Baby Doc's regime came crashing down, people went wild on Papa Doc's mausoleum, hurling rocks, breaking pieces off, and busting open the crypt. But here's where it gets even more movie-like. The old man's coffin was missing, and rumors had it that Baby Doc, in his hasty exit to the U.S., had taken his dad's remains with him on an Air Force plane just a day before. And Baby Doc, when we get to his part, his story is very interesting too. But this was heavy. This was pretty heavy. I tried to be as unbiased as possible. I won't say too much of my opinion on this matter, but as far as where I stand, I just want for you to not leave this video thinking that Haiti is just this voodoo country. I know a lot of Western people, Americanized people, like to argue with me when they get into the occult or voodoo and start learning about it. When I tell people, hey, this is not the life, seek God, because trust me, as a Haitian that was born in Haiti, that had firsthand experience with this, not me being a part of it, but family that was around it, and everywhere around you was this type of mysticism. There's only one power that cannot be messed with, and that is God. That is Yahweh, the Creator. And nothing can mess with someone who is close to God. That is truth. And this is why I will always never be shy to speak about my belief. So yes, enemy has its power. It has its power. It does its miracles. It's nothing but fallen angels, guys. At the end of the day, those spirits they're talking to, that's giving them intelligence, that's giving them special power, is nothing but the manifestations of fallen angels coming in the form as loi and spirits, and really making these people believe a lie and enticing them with special knowledge, because that is how Eve fell in the first place, being enticed with knowledge to be like God, to be illuminated. And Baba Doc was a Mason also, just to say that means anything. And he did believe in knowledge and the enticement of it. And that's what Lucifer has been doing since heaven, right? So believe it or not, there's only one power that can stand against these forces. And I know a lot of people won't like what I'm saying at the end. Go deal with that with you and God. But this is the truth as I see fit. And any power that came up from evil can never last. It can never last. But this is how I leave this video. Comment below who else would you guys like for me to do a video for. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the music you're listening to, the link is in the description. I love you guys.